So I am 28 and my wife is 29. We got married last year and we have been together for a while since we were in our early 22nd. We have a 8-year-old son together. My wife barely works part-time and I work only 5 days a week and get home pretty early. I bought us a house a while ago and I have my own business. I took care of our son and wife and I thought everything was all good. Recently my wife started acting weird and I was getting suspicious of how she was acting. I told her one day I was going on a trip with my friends to Mexico and I wouldn't be back for a week. I left my son with her. I was not actually taking a trip. I came back home at an unexpected time purposely, and I found her in bed with some random ass guy. She saw me walk in and she started to cry. I couldn't find my son and apparently she left him with one of our mutual friends. I left in my truck and slept at a motel for a few days, and my wife was calling me a lot and messaging me. I ignored it and just took care of my business. My son was at school, so I stopped by to greet him and hanged out him for a while during his lunchtime. He asked me why I wasn't coming back home and I told him I had work to take care of, that maybe I would be back soon. I haven't visited him for lunch after that day and my wife keeps on calling me saying she is so sorry to please come back, but I ignored it. Eventually I came to the house and slept in my truck for a while, and she would keep on trying to get me to sleep in the house, but I didn't want to. Now I want a divorce, but I am afraid I will lose my home, businesses, and my son. She says she really doesn't want a divorce and she wants to fix this, but I don't think there is a way to fix this anymore. For me, it's all done. Now what is going to be of my life after we divorce? I know men always lose in court, so I expect to be in a bad place for a few years economically, and I will be an old man and nobody will want me. So what is the point now? I feel like shit and can barely function anymore, and I can feel myself getting destroyed by this. I am no longer in shape and look like a damn bag of bones. My brother is taking care of my business for now, and I lost my parents last year. They both passed away in a car accident. My sister is out of the country, so really I guess I'm done for, and I feel there is nothing I will do. I can't eat, sleep, drink water, or anything from the images I saw. I tried my hardest not to abuse alcohol or drugs, but without it I feel more pain. I am staying away from my son for a while since I do not want him to live in a toxic household. Honestly, I feel like there is no way out of this shitstorm. She begs me to please return with her, that she misses me and loves me, but I don't feel like I'm good enough anyways. Ex-wife left for a pee and returned after 10 years and asks to take her back. Me 34 male. My ex-wife 35 female, call her X. My neighbor AP. My neighbor's wife 37 female, call her M. Me and my wife married in 2009. We had our baby in 2010. In 2010, while she was asleep, a message pooped on her phone and was a flirty message. I checked on her phone and it was from our neighbor. I went through every single message, which included sexting, sharing nudes, and even had planned meetups at hotels. This was going on from the first week into our marriage. I felt like my world crumbled in front of me. I took screenshots of every message and saved on my phone. Next day I contacted M and let her know about the affair. They were married for 4 years and had their first baby almost exact same time as we had ours. I confronted my wife and told her that I am going to give her divorce. She started crying and everything else, but I did not consider it. I also did paternity test on our child's son because the affair timeline was same as conception date. After 2 days, when I come home from work, our baby was crying in our bed and X was nowhere to be seen. Then I found a letter of her telling that she did not love me and she had left with AP, and to not contact them. I knew this was coming, but I didn't believe that a mother can leave her child was about 6 months alone and can run off with her lover. I then went to M's house. She had received same letter by her husband. I felt sorry for her as she was going from postpartum depression, had her baby just a few months ago, and was left alone. Also, paternity test result came back and he was my son. I tried to contact X family, but they also didn't know where she was and was shocked by her behavior. Her father even said that if she ever came back, she would not be allowed to enter their house. They basically disowned her. Al was very supportive. She began coming to my home to watch kids and even breastfed both of them, her and mine. As time passed, we were like family. My son called her mom and had known only her as mom. We also decided to go on dates. We engaged a year later and married in 2013. We had our first child in 2015. We often discussed things about our exes and how we were often disrespected by them. We were happy family. In 2018, when my son accidentally saw a picture of my ex picture after birth, so it included X, me and him, so we decided to tell him that her birth mother X had died in car accident years ago and L took care of him since he was 6 months old. 2 days ago, I received an anonymous email. I opened it and it read, "I want to see my son and want my family back. We are not divorced yet. I knew it was ex. I showed this to LL, started freaking out and asked me if I would take her back. I calmed her down and told her that she was an ugly past and I would never leave you. I would never take her back. Now I am confused what to do. I will definitely not take her back, but should I let her meet my son or not? Should I take my son's opportunity to have connection with her birth mother? My wife has left me for another man and I was directed here to start the process. D-Day 11/22/20. Me and my wife have known each other since November of 2013 and started dating immediately. At the time of typing this, I'm 28 and she's 24. We met when she was 17 and I was 21. 1 year and it got kind of rocky, but we put it back together and stuck with it. We got married on May 16th of 2016. We had our baby boy 2 years ago. Just 8 days ago, she told me she was seeing another man and that it was physical. She had been seeing him for 3 weeks at that point. I asked her if she thought I should leave and if I should take our son with me. She nodded, so I just went into the other room and went to bed. Just in shock. Stared at the ceiling the entire next day in between taking care of our son. The next day I threw what I could in my car and left. I want to clarify, I have a terrible drinking problem and it has consumed me. And now that it has ruined my life, I can't let it ruin my son's life. I'll be going to meetings immediately. We've been happy together all these years, made sacrifices for one another and have enjoyed each other. We lived in a city for 3 years after we got married as she was advancing her career. I was managing a retail store and making really good money. She was managing a restaurant and she was making really good money. But we never saved. We've always been terrible with our spending. On Valentine's Day 2017, we tried for a baby and got pregnant on the first try. Our debts were piling up and we had no health insurance. I quit my managing job so I could get a different job and qualify for insurance for her. You never know what can happen during a pregnancy, you know. We decided she should keep her since she loved her job and is very passionate about it. I got another job and got insurance. That November we welcomed our son into the world on her due date, happy and healthy. The birth was natural and I held her hand through the entire process and watched my son enter this world and even cut the cord. We were so happy and so in love. Once the insurance paid out, I quit that job because it was awful and went back to the same company I was working for. Our debts continued piling up and we wound up with a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. We were surviving though. We just lived our lives for a year and a half after that and loved each other and raised our son. She begged me to move to another city for another job offer with the same company and a substantial pay raise. I told her I didn't want to give up what we had there. But she continued pushing and 3 months later I finally said fuck it and gave and told her we could move once again and start over in the new city. I gave up everything I loved about what I was doing there and our home that we both loved. We had so much room there and a fenced yard for our son. We moved 5 months ago and I just wound up working for her for simplicity's sake since we were having such a hard time finding a good reliable daycare. There were days where we just worked opposite shifts just to make it work. I felt less of a man and fell into a deep depression, became cold and distant to her, and eventually we only had sex once a few weeks. I stopped taking the time to look her in the eyes, hugging her, kissing her, touching her. We became almost like roommates with a kid. We never talked about it though. She ignored me too, but I know she could see the sadness in my eyes. But she just seemed so happy with what she was doing, and I couldn't just walk away from that or tell her we needed to go somewhere else. Our apartment was abysmally small, like tiny. We had nowhere to enjoy each other's company like we used to. Nowhere for our son just to play and run and laugh. So cramped. I should have done something, gone to a counselor, tried to find a job I loved, but I just rotted there, drowning myself in the bottle every day. I did all the housework, the laundry, dishes, meals, and taking care of our son. I was a drone just grinding through the days. She said she felt dead inside when she told me. My D-Day. She felt nothing and just had to go and feel again, feel anything. I died a little inside that day. I completely shut her out and walked away. It took me a couple of days to wake up, but I fought for her, offered forgiveness, offered to try to find religion with her as I'm an atheist and she's a Lutheran. Told her I'd do anything to keep her in my life, to get help from my drinking as I should have years ago. I just wish she would have given me an ultimatum before having an affair. She's already walked away though. My heart and soul are so broke right now and I'm having a hard time holding it together and I just want to drink so fucking bad. But I can't. I have to do this for my son. I've got a job, a place to live, and I've got my son. I told her I could forgive her, and we could rebuild our lives together. I could give up the bottle, focus on us. I've made so many mistakes. I gave her the same ultimatum she should have given to me a month ago, 2 days ago, and she chose him. I've been asleep for so long and I woke up this week. It's been hell. I can't stop throwing up. I've been having random panic attacks and breakdowns. I was thinking about editing all the screenshots, removing names and places and just sharing them with you all. In those messages I tried to win her back. She even had the gall to post on Facebook that she was in a relationship after I changed mine to separate it. I'm over here reaching out to her and trying so hard, and she's already moved on. It's like she's not the same person anymore. I sent her my closing statement from our relationship today. Going forward, we will only talk about money and our son until the divorce. She's going to continue to pay on the bankruptcy and assist me financially, as if we default on that or restructure it would make life hard for all of us, including our son. I'm going to share my closing statement now. Me, one more thing. I'm sorry I fell into such a dark place once we moved to. I just wasn't happy there. I was severely depressed. I didn't focus on your needs, physical or emotional. I became even more consumed in the bottle than I ever have. I hid those feelings from you because I wanted to give you the world. I gave up the happiness of having a real home and a real job, and I did that for you. I should have gone to counseling. We both should have, especially after your sister's passing. I wasn't there for you through that. I lost my passion to truly live and live through you. I cannot change the things I've done or the choices I've made. But I'm truly happy you've found a spark of joy in your life, and that will keep me going, along with the joy I find through being with our son every day. I've even already considered attempting to find another woman to love, but I can't do that. It won't be love. It will be empty. Won't help anything, and it's wrong, and it's not fair to our son. I've hung all of our pictures here to remind me of the love we had when we truly loved each other, and I'll keep moving forward to make sure our son is loved, happy, and healthy. I'm going to find a counselor soon and just talk to someone. We both lost a lot of who we were when we moved to. We became shells of ourselves, and we let it take over everything. I'm sorry too that I didn't focus on your needs, your feelings, and your happiness. We both were living under a shadow, and it ruined us. I really hope you do go and find someone to talk to, and I hope you really do stay away from alcohol. Our son is everything. I miss him so much. You have no idea. I'm so glad that he has you. I know he's in the best hands possible. Me. But I also want you to never forget there is no justifying the choices you made either. And you can hate me for that, and that's okay too. I want you to always remember that you gave up on us and your son. We did make a vow and you broke that vow. I'm dropping it now. Have a good life.